work till it's daylight. Yeah, inspiration ain't required. I go hard in the pain even when I'm tired. 'Cause tomorrow ain't promised. I give my all, ain't nothing left. No tomorrow ain't promised. There's no tomorrow, no tomorrow, no.
I mean,
Come one, come all. We ready to ball because we about to go hard in the paint. Y'all saw that in the chat already. I thought it was a cute little intro, so I wanted to do it. We got my man Ceej in the building. You haven't seen his face in a while, but now you're looking at him. Look at him, handsome devil. He's got the SimWorld TV in the back. Y'all already know who I am. I go by the name of Yels. So we're going to talk some Pac-12, an exciting conference. But before we do, I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all, and I have a couple of messages. Ceej, do I start with Canelo or do we start with
you? You look like an ice cream cone.
I look like an ice cream cone? It's the swoop. It's the swoop. Ceej just saying that I look tasty is what he's saying. Fall back. All right, man. So do I start?
You know, they say people hear what they want to. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. But yeah. Go ahead with your Canelo. I would like
to look tasty on all occasions. Look, so do I start with Canelo or do I start with viewership? You make the call.
Canelo. People are waiting to hear.
Canelo. All right, let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and get off what I couldn't get off last time talking about Canelo. And I think Coach Drayden in here talking junk about me. Let me get this off my chest really quick. Roniel is not a Canelo Alvarez fan at all. But you know what I am? I'm realistic. And anybody that says they knew, not that they hoped, that they knew Bud Crawford was going to walk in there and whoop Canelo's ass is a liar. I don't believe it. If you believe that, I don't believe anything you have to say. If you thought it would be a good fight, I'm going to take that. Here's what I thought, and here's why I said that. Canelo, 3 weight classes bigger than Bud Crawford. I'm a boxing guy. Y'all ain't going to come to me with that. 3 weight classes bigger. With the exception of fighting B-Vol, who was throwing some awkward punches, and Triple G, who's Triple G. I've never seen Canelo move backwards. He didn't even move backwards in those fights. He just looked stunned a bit. He never moved backwards. Is he the greatest boxer? No. But he's absolutely the boxer of the era, and that's what everybody wanted to coronate him. You saw the show come on at the beginning of the show, and they had him set up for it to be the absolute coronation of the greatest boxer ever in history. Then you have Bud Crawford, the most skilled boxer that we may have seen before. Again, people like to kind of come in and talk about things after the fact. People wasn't calling him the greatest boxer ever before this fight. So this guy's jumping up 3 weight classes. What I expected to have happen was for Canelo to be a little stronger than Bud Crawford expected him to be. And maybe he could take some punches. That's 1. And maybe he could give out some punches. That's 2. Even if he outboxed him, the golden boy of the era in Las Vegas on Mexican Pride Month in a fight that was set up for him to be coronated in, they were not going to let him win on the cards. At best, the expectation was that Bud Crawford would outbox him slightly and they would give the edge to Canelo because it's Canelo. That's how boxing works. But it didn't happen. That was the only reason I said that was going to happen. What Bud Crawford did do, let's get this out of the way, and maybe I'm preempting a show that me and Rick going to have. Bud Crawford went out there and he boxed his ass off. What he did is he showed us he's probably the greatest boxer ever, and we just never had the opportunity to see it. He jumped up 3 weight classes and did everything in a boxing match that you want to see. And I mean everything. I was wrong. Hey, kids here, take note, because this is what a lot of people don't. Hey, I'm making a lesson here. I was wrong.
Everything I heard you just say, I just heard like I was wrong.
That's cool. And that was gonna be my point for the kids and others like you, Ceej. Learn to admit when you're wrong, because some of y'all ain't done that shit in like years. Like, I don't understand. It's impossible. I was wrong. My thinking was not wrong. So for y'all, like, he was going, yeah, Bud's gonna walk in 3 weight classes harder and put him on the mat. Y'all are lying. You did not. That's not realistic. But he did go out there and he put on a master class, and I'm calling it right now. I think he's the greatest boxer I've ever seen with my eyes. Yes. And then we can move on and talk basketball. Bud Crawford, number 1. Floyd Mayweather, number 2. That's what I'm saying after what I saw, because it was unbelievable what he did. Master class. All right. Did I spend enough time? I spent 6 minutes, not 8 minutes. I'm so sorry. I had to get it off my chest, though, Ceej. Do you want to add anything on that fight? Were you flabbergasted? Like, matter of fact, let me just ask that question. Even if you thought he was going to win, did you think it was going to look like that? Like, it was incredible.
Yeah, I did.
Get out of here. All right, we're going to move on. Let's talk SEC. You're going to get some more unbelievable, unforgivable takes here. I'm sorry, Pac-12, SECs for another time. Let's keep it moving here, though. Ceej, it's already up on the screen. Let's talk defending champs, shall we? Defending champs in the house. We got UCLA. Looked pretty good last season, right? What else is? They won a championship. They went out on top. But no longer do they have. Hold up. I'm in the chat. I'm in the chat. This is what I was telling you about. Ceej. There was no half-ass. There was no half-ass in that. I said I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I wanted to explain because I did not get to last time why I said Canelo Alvarez was going to win. He lost. He got his ass whooped. I was wrong. Y'all the ones that struggle with saying I'm wrong. I don't struggle with saying I'm wrong. Yeah,
that's he was already wrong. He already lost tens of thousands of dollars on the fight. Let the guy have a break.
Hey, I was wrong. That was one of my 7 times that I'm allowed to be wrong in a year. I still have 3 times available for those who are keeping count. All right, Ceej, Pac-12, UCLA, no Jalen Snow. He's now gone.
No Lagerald Carroll.
Lagerald Carroll, yeah. I mean, they lost a lot of firepower.
Yep.
But they still have some things there. I want to let you talk because I've talked a lot. You got Mick Cronin there. He had this team running up and down the court. You got some people still there. Just get it off your chest. We can talk last season. We don't need to talk last season because they won it all. Let's talk about the outlook for this season. Let's talk about what you think the strengths and the weaknesses are for this team. Let's talk predictions. And then we're going to hit the pause button before we get to talking recruiting. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Last season, like you said, not a whole lot to say. They were defending champs, and they looked good all year. They weren't like third in their conference and just had like a magic run. They were best team in the Pac-12, which was at times a very good conference, at times not so much. And they took it and they rolled into the tournament with it, and they won. I mean, can't say a whole lot about last year. What I can say, your first instinct's going to be Jalen Snow and Lagerald Carroll are gone. Not only is that their 2 leading scorers, that's their 2 best shooters last year by a large margin. The guys who had the ball in their hand, 90% of the time between the 2 of them. You got JJ Ortega is returning. I think he's going to have to turn it up a notch or 2 with his facilitation. He's going to need to be more of a leader to kind of fill, that leadership role that needs to happen. Evangelos Mullins coming back is huge. I actually really, really like the front court for this UCLA team. I think they are riddled with high energy dogs. Maybe not the most size, but actually in the Pac-12, they're one of the bigger teams up there in the front court. You look at Semi Domingos, who didn't have quite as much play last year as, some guys like Evangelos Mullins.
He's an athletic freak, too. He's
athletic freak. They're dogs, just like Mullins, both dogs. Per 40, Domingos actually averages more rebounds than anyone on the team. He's a dog, per 40. And he's going to get a bigger role this year, I think. And then you do have guys coming back. We talked JJ Ortega. I'm a fan of Franklin Tyson, another front court guy. I think him and Blaine Kidd, we all know Blaine Kidd and how good he is. Blaine Kidd got a little overshadowed last year in his scoring ability because he didn't need to be that scoring guy. But we've seen Blaine Kidd be that scoring guy. He has it in his toolbox. I think he's going to need to step it up. What I will say for this UCLA team is they're going to run the same kind of offense this year. You're going to see them up and down the court. It might not just be the one guy, Jalen Snow, doing as much. They might not have one guy who has that kind of usage rate. But this team is riddled with shooters. Everyone on this team can at the very least step out a little bit, even the bigs.
It's college basketball, right? So that's where everybody's like, oh, they lost their star. You got Jordan, and maybe I'm stepping on you here, but I can jump in. Blaine, did we forget Blaine Kidd's on this team? And he played off the bench last season. He's coming back as the leading scorer. JJ Ortega, you know what he does? He moves that rock, and now he has lots more options. Jordan Bamford, bucket. Wilson Lamb, in his latter years or the latter games that we got to see in SimWorld U, absolute bucket. And can we holler? And I love the name, too, because I know what he does. I seen him on social media, and I think his social media handle is Don't Let Him Shoot. Koya Monroe. Sheesh.
I was about to bring him up. I think you're going to see, first of all, the 2 you already mentioned are going to be great additions to the team. They're going to need to step out. I see Jordan Bamford coming off the bench start the year, but carving a rollout is a very important shooter and a guy that you're going to see J.J. Ortega get a lot of assists through. But Koya Monroe, and I'm not saying this is a for sure thing, but of anyone on this roster, Blaine Kidd excluded maybe, Koya Monroe is going to have a chance as a freshman. If he can come in and be hot and acclimate to the college game quickly, he's going to have a chance to be kind of their go-to guy. I think he's got that kind of talent. He's got the frame with the way he plays. He's got the highest upside of any of the incoming freshmen. And professional upside, he might have the most professional upside of anyone on this squad. Upperclassmen, lowerclassmen, anyone. But we all know how that goes. Upside is one thing. How you perform when you acclimate to college is another thing.
He also has a game a lot like Jalen Snow. Like his ability to go get the bucket on his own.
Absolutely.
I think
he's a bucket getter.
For those that don't know are going to be shocked.
He's a bucket getter. As you said, Jordan Bamford is. Wilson Lamb, he is going to be a glue guy for them. I see him logging some meaningful minutes, providing some really good defense at that guard position. But I think this team is, while they may not have quite the firepower to start the year as they did with Jalen Snow and LaGerald Carroll, because I don't want to underplay what that loss is. That's a huge loss of offense. Massive. They have the tools to fill that. They have the upside to fill it. We're just going to have to see if they will. But this team absolutely is going to be probably a top 5 scoring team in the country throughout the year. I see no reason that's not going to be the case. The heart of their offense, I know it feels like it was Jalen Snow, but the guy who kept things moving and made that offense go, J.J. Ortega, he's still here. Their bigs, still here. The guys who were getting rebounds, still here. And they added shooters. They got shooters. And they added a guy in Koya Monroe who can be a star. So I'm excited for the UCLA team. I think their ceiling, I don't want to say their ceiling is another deep hoops area run. Maybe not a championship, but I see this team being at the top of the Pac-12. Maybe not the top of the Pac-12. They're not my prediction to win the Pac-12. We'll get to them later. Top of the Pac-12, top 3, and likely at least a couple wins in the tournament is what I see for this UCLA team. If Koya Monroe elevates and is that guy, like he has the upside to be, their ceiling is to repeat, to be honest. But we'll have to see.
Defensively, they're going to be a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. LaGerald Carroll was big for them defensively last season. People only see the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, he really, really got it done. But defensively, I think we also saw, Mitchell Marison Cole. We saw Franklin Tyson was just a monster down the stretch in hoops area. And they're coming back for more. Like you said, Samad Dominguez getting more clock. I think that this team is just a lot scarier than people are getting credit for, because people only look at box scores and look at points. And they lost the best player in the country last year and another really talented professional guy now. So it makes sense that as a casual, you see this UCLA team and you're like, no way they're going to be as good as they were last year. They have the potential to absolutely be as good as they were last year. That's Melo's point when he hits a 3. It also means some of y'all got to know basketball too. Can't just talk stars and stats. You got to know basketball. You don't just put chess and checker pieces on a board and it just works. You got to get it done. So UCLA, you said, did you give a number on where they finish and how deep they go in hoops area? Did you do that?
I think they fit. A record?
Get on the record, man. Don't be scared.
I said I think they finished top 3 in the Pac-12. That's what I'll do. I'll give you where I think they finish in their conference.
What about hoops area? Do they make a run? Do they get into the Super 16?
I'm thinking grade 8. I think ceiling, like I said, if Koya Monroe is that guy like he could be, and plays to his full potential, full upside, not even full potential, full upside, then their ceiling is another national championship. But my prediction is going to be grade 8, top 3 in the Pac-12.
All right. Let's talk recruiting real quick. We already jumped into Jordan Bamford coming in, Mike Felgs, Wilson Lamb, and Koya Monroe brought in 4 freshmen. We can J.J. Ortega, senior, he's going to be leaving. We'll see if Blaine Kidd is going to leave out or not. Right now, projected second rounder. There's some SWBA teams looking at him. He may test the waters. Recruiting wise, what do you think they need to be looking for? Or have you heard anything in the streets as to what they may be looking for? You want to speculate?
I think what they need to be looking for is, when you talk about a program like UCLA and their recruiting, it's going to be a little different than when you talk about, let's say, like a Wichita State or something. UCLA is a blue blood. They're an all-time basketball program. They're always going to be going after not necessarily needs, but they have the ability and the privilege to always go after top 10 names every year. they're going to have that. Like the Dukes, like the Kentuckys, like the North Carolinas, the UCLAs, they're going to have shots at top 10s every year. So that's obviously always going to be first priority. If you have a chance at a top 10 prospect, doesn't matter who he is, what he plays, you're probably going to go get him. Beside that, from a filling the holes around, I expect quite a few guys from this UCLA team to be gone next year, including Evangelist Mullins, including Franklin Tyson, likely including Mitchell Marison Cole. I think he's got enough upside to maybe be a second rounder next year already. I think you're going to see a lot of their bigs departing, and I'm not even going to touch on the guards that may be departing because that could happen too. But especially if they have another great year, they need to go get some more bigs because those bigs, while it doesn't seem like it, the way that UCLA played in their high-powered offense and up-tempo and everything, those bigs are what make that work. The defense from them, the rebounding from them, the presence of those bigs is, like I said, they're dogs. I think the one that you probably have a chance of retaining is Domingos, and that's if he doesn't really uptick his play this year, which I think he might. I think they could lose all four of those front court guys going into next year. So if I'm them right now, I'm looking for the next high-energy bigs who are okay with kind of being, if they want to continue running the scheme that they're running, which I assume they do because they recruited this year as if that's the case, and it's UCLA, it's what they do. They need to keep that core front court guys who are dogs and don't mind being glue guys. Keep getting those guys. Because there's not a lot of them that go to the Pac-12. We're going to talk about it throughout this entire preview, but a lot of these teams in the Pac-12 are very small. There's not a lot of size in the Pac-12. So they need to be all on top of it. If there's guys in the region who are bigs and are dogs and can be a glue guy, go get them. Don't wait.
All right, so for those of us who have not seen Ceej in a while, if y'all don't remember, this show's going to run long because Ceej can talk basketball all day long. This is going to be a long-ass show, which I think is a good segue into, I want to hit the spot really quick because we got 27 concurrent in here right now. That's pretty good news. Oh, we're so close. But here's what we need. 50 live viewers. I'm going to go ahead and get on that soapbox. Think about this. Keep putting it up on the screen, Ceej. 50 viewers. Like, that's light work. For everybody here who wants to see 500 live runs streamed in a day, back-to-back games, scrimmages. I need this. I want that. Shit, we should have at least 50 viewers in the live stream. We need y'all tuned in, guys. It's the only way we can grow. It's the only thing that allows us to put in this level of product and the amount of energy and the amount of streams y'all are looking for. How else can we do it if there ain't nobody tuned in? So share with your teammates in your locker room. Share in the chat. Hit them in the DMs. Hit some friends up. Hit people up that are not even in SimWorld. They will love this stuff. Y'all invite them. Let them know. And you know what, coaches? For the coaches that are not tuned in, that's why your players ain't tuned in, sucker. Like, coach, lead the goddamn team. Be a leader. I'm sorry. And so, some of y'all at work, I get it. But a lot of y'all go to the bathroom and y'all look at other stuff. Y'all look at other stuff on Instagram and TikTok. Turn on SimWorld because SimWorld TV is going to be a real thing real soon. Were you telling me to lower the temperature, Ceej? Is that what you were telling me?
You're up here. Need you here.
You need me to bring it down? You need me to bring it down. Okay. Watch how I do that. I'm gonna bring it down.
You can bring it back up slowly, but bring it down and segue your way back up. That was a lot all at once.
It was. All right.
You need a segue.
You know what? Here's how I bring it. Here's how I bring it down a few notches. Let's talk a little US. See you later.
That'll bring it down a couple notches.
Let's talk USC. Once a highly heralded team in the Pac-12, it's going to be a rough go this season. Let's go ahead and get started here. J-Mo, injured. Integral part of this team. Maybe again, y'all didn't see it on the stat board, but this man, 10 points a game, 6 rebounds, almost 7 rebounds a game. Defense, athlete, he helped this team get up and down the court. He's hurt. So we don't know when he'll be returning. And then not a whole lot moving and shaking on the recruiting front. This team struggled last season. The question is, Ceej, do you think they're going to struggle even more this season?
No. I'll start from the back with them since we're already talking about it. My prediction for them is, realistic prediction is around what they were last year. 7-7 in the Pac-12, middle of the pack. Disappointing first round loss. I think depending on the matchup, they can maybe get a Hoops area win. But if you want to be real, most of their team, they got all of their core pieces returning from last year, which is usually a really big plus. I mean, that is a big plus. The chemistry of it, they already know the offense. They can work on other things. Here's what I think. They also wanted to talk about guys in the region who are dogs that UCLA missed out on, but they don't got room for them right now in the rotation. Willard Krause. I'm a big fan of that freshman coming in. I think he's going to help change the culture there with USC. That kid is a dog.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a dog. He is one of those go get it glue guys. He played for the same prep team before going to SimWorld U as Evangelist Mullins did, actually.
Yeah, he did.
They are cut from the same cloth, and we know Mullins is one of those go get him guys. Krause, a lot less athletic maybe, but a lot more skilled. I think he's got more offensive touch. This year, he's not going to be one of the main features on offense, but he can grow into it, in my opinion, for this USC squad. And this year, he will be an integral part in the way that he hustles. That being said, I think this USC team could be a top 3 Pac-12 team. That's not my official prediction for them, but I'll tell you what I think they need. More up-tempo play. Going to have to continue seeing that, because what are you really basing on, right? You've got guys like Jackson McLean up front, even without JMO, which is a loss. You got a guy like Jackson McLean up front. You got a couple other guys who are Anthony Sasser. He's a hardworking big, but really the heart of your team, you're looking at Quintel Patterson, right? He makes everything go. He's an electric player. 5 foot. One of those just 5'10" dudes who's just electric to watch. He gets up, yams it. He can score. He's strong player, strong leader. What I need this year, Gabe Pope, who anyone who's follows kind of the prep basketball world is going to know that Gabe Pope was a big part of his team, big leader. I need him to step more into that leadership with this team. And what I would like to see is a little more of the ball in his hand, him being more of a facilitator at the college level, and more off-ball play for Quintel Patterson. I want to see him coming off screens, getting to the rack, things like that, and just create a little more excitement. Because Gabe Pope, while a very good player, he's not quite the off-ball player that Quintel is. And he's not a world-beating scorer, Gabe Pope isn't. He's gotten better on offense. He's a great defender, great frame for a defender at 6'5". That's the switch I want to see them. And for them to be top 3 in the Pac-12, we're going to need to see both Gabe Pope facilitating at and Quintel Patterson playing at an all SimWorld U type level, 3rd team, 2nd team, whatever. That's got to be the case. Those two guys are going to make this team go, and they're going to have to give big minutes to Willard Krause. Again, JMO was undersized, but he filled a lot of that kind of 4 position for this USC team when they were running small. He's not there.
Let me get in. God damn, Ceej. Let me get in, sir. Let me get in there. Let me have part of this action. All right, so Willard Krause right now is not projected to be starters. Do you think that he'll be a starter before the end of the season?
I do.
Okay. Let me
I think he'll outwork anyone on that roster.
Absolutely. That's kind of what I wanted to allude to. I think the easy low-hanging fruit is to talk about Quintel Patterson, which is just a highlight reel waiting. Gabe Pope, two-way player. I love him. For me, you got Anthony Sasser, you got Willard Krause, who you just mentioned there. I think those two end up battling because they're very similar, but just Krause is obviously more offensively skilled. But Jackson McLean is who I'm expecting to have a breakout season, 6'10". You remember how Clint Capella, when he played with the Rockets, when he had the right point guard, it was like, this dude averaged 17 points a game off the pick and roll because he was willing to do that shit every time straight to the rack. That is what Jackson McLean is, and he is a monster athlete. I think at the time that Musselman's really ready to pull that trigger and maybe have Willard Krause move into that starting lineup along with Jackson McLean, you don't need a guy out there with bag work, pounding the rock with crossovers all day long. You need a heavy pick and roll, trying to figure out which one of those guys is going to get it off of the roll, and that could be scary. You got any thoughts on that?
With those two guys, and I love the comparison to Clint Capella, I don't have a problem with having a Quintel Patterson who's just going to go try to score the ball a lot.
Right.
Because guess who's going to get the rebound 90% of the time? McLean or Krause. They're going to be offensive rebounding machines. So, I think likely we're looking at middle of the pack again because there's a lot of culture change and a lot of elevation that needs to happen for this USC team. But I think they have a chance to be one of the better teams in the Pac-12 with how much they've got returning.
They're going to be tough.
That's a super underrated factor in college basketball. We see it year after year. The teams who return a lot of players and a lot of starters are the most consistent, the best teams. Unless you're like Kentucky and have new one and dones every year, which is not the case anymore. With the new regime of college basketball, but that's how it used to be. Yeah, this USC team's got potential. That's all.
Okay. Well, they're gonna give teams some problems. I think that's I think that's my takeaway. Is they're gonna be a very tough out night after night. Is that I think the Pac-12 just got a lot tougher, known for up and down playing offense. This is going to be grind, fight it out games against this USC team. Let's talk recruiting. We already talked Willowridge Krause. We got Brian Garcia from the Philippines. We heard a lot about this kid. Coach Musselman has raved about how good a passer he is at the size that he is. And then aside from that, you got Renzo Webb-Storm. I'm not sure if you're very versed on these kids. Think that they're going to be big for the future? Might they crack some and get some minutes this season? Or are they still looking forward in recruiting?
I think it's got to be both. You're not a competitive basketball program if you're not doing both. And and USC is a competitive basketball program. Down years in the past couple of years, sure, but they're a history program. What I think they need to go do is, obviously you're focusing on the development of those guys. And I didn't bring them up, but absolutely you look at those guys like RWS and, like I said, Willowridge Krause. There's development to be done there. But I need USC. They're about to lose Quintel Patterson. Now, he's got eligibility for 1 year after this, but in all likelihood, he's probably out, right? Let's assume that he's on his way out. They've got Gabe Pope, great defender. He's going to be a cornerstone. Renzo Webb-Storm could be this guy for them. They need to go get their next DeMar DeRozan, their next OJ Mayo. I need them to go get an absolute bucket getter. I need them to go get bucket getters because this front court is going to be good. They've got a couple younger guys, front court guys. They're going to be good for them. Go get the scorer. Go get the guy who can put up 30 on any given night. Go get the next OJ Mayo. That's what I'm looking for if I'm USC. That's what I want.
You want OJ Mayo?
I want college OJ Mayo.
All right.
Let's not slight OJ Mayo. He was a hooper. You want to talk about a bucket getter? OJ Mayo was a bucket getter.
I wasn't dogging him out. I wasn't dogging him out at all. All right, well, look, we're gonna move on from USC. Before we do, let's just go ahead and get this in early. I do appreciate everybody that is tuned in, despite me coming down hard and heavy on the people that are not tuned in. It looks like we've got roughly 25% of our viewers tuned in. We're going to have to up that up. But those of you who are here, let's just go ahead and shout y'all out. Let's do it. We got Coach McHubbardson's in the building. He's always in the building. That's why his recruiting game is on point. We got B-Ron. B-Ron, what's going on? Biff Markham in the building. We got Scary Barry Jet Blues in the building. Hey, he's new to the scene and already tapped in. You're going places. Matter of fact, hey, Dizos is in the building. And guess what? That's not me saying it. That's him saying it in third person because that's how he talks. Dizos is in the chat. Dude's nuts. I love it, though. I love it. I think we got
Dizos nuts. Dizos is nuts.
You caught that, all right? Big Cyrus Jackson is in the building. Jay Midoriya, good luck out there. Choppa? Yeah.
That's Tuno Choppa in the chat.
Jay Midoriya? Hey, it's star-studded in here.
I'm gonna need some courtside tickets this year.
Courtside?
Look it up.
Where you trying to go to Oklahoma?
I'll go wherever there's good basketball, and if Suno's there should be some good basketball. So give me some.
There's just tickets laying. There's just tickets laying on the ground in Oklahoma. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, I want him to hand me some.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
You gonna be courtside at a game?
I'll be courtside at all. Sure. I'm not buying no tickets.
Ceej is well connected. Ceej is well connected, is what he's saying. Suno, you need to come up on those. You need to come up on those tickets for my guy Ceej. See, you got Benjamin Alexander in the background too there.
Ceej daps up Dizos. In agreement. Yeah.
It's just weird. Great song you got going on in the background too.
Coach Pope's got me. You know I love some SEC ball. He'll get me out there. We're good.
He got you. Take it easy, Coach. Take it easy.
No, don't take it easy.
Moving on. Let's talk California. Let's talk Golden Bears, another team that I don't think really performed up to standard last season. Mark Madsen, not known to be a great offensive savant just yet. 73-77, an all-time record in coaching. Goes out to the Golden Bears and has them struggling. They do return their leading scorer from last season, and Jason Tada. He does more than just get buckets. He's also their leading assist man. pretty efficient from the field, shooting over 50%. They returned Shedrick Bomar, he's just like a tank, a load in the backcourt. He's going to be running point guard, so I think they have their starters solidified. Israel Vines, I'm a big fan of his. And it looks like they're going to be starting a freshman out of I don't know how you say that, San Luis, or whatever the hell that says. He's out of California, 6'10", 230, freshman Jamal Williams. Ceej, this is one you can run with because I don't have a whole lot of feedback on this team other than I'm hoping Jason Tada shows some magic. But what are your thoughts on what this team can accomplish this season where they compare to last season?
I mean, you kind of hit it. Jason Tada coming back is what there is to talk about. Israel Vines too. I actually don't want to slight Israel Vines. I think he continues to progress on the offensive end, and we saw how integral he could be on their defensive side. This team was not a bad defensive team a year ago. Jamal Williams is going to be big. They obviously believe in him if he's starting. He can actually hit a couple jump shots, which is not bad for a 6'10", 230 guy. And he's a watch for him this year. Yells, he is an underrated passer. But I think that's what people need to understand is that Jamal Williams is not a beat him up in the post type guy. He actually doesn't have a whole lot of a post game. He's a very modern big. Really good passer. He can step out, hit a shot. He needs to work on his rebounding in his post game, to be honest. I was trying to say it in a nice way. But again, freshman, 18 years old. He's got time. Jason Tada and Israel Vines are kind of the key to this team. A sleeper freshman, and I wouldn't even call him a sleeper because he was pretty highly touted at one point. He fell in the rankings a little bit before he ended up committing to Cal. Some people thought he was going to go somewhere maybe a little more notable. Yeah. But I think because of it, he's going to get a lot of chances probably pretty early on. And in fact, it almost feels like they're going to kind of have him step in as the next Jason Tada for this team. And that's Jarius Bradley out of California. He kind of fell short in prep ball of what a lot of people felt his potential was, but we've seen that a lot. That happens. Sometime in prep ball, it's just not the right fit. He's the kind of guy who has the tools, the skill set, the frame to be another Jason Tada, even be better. You're just hoping that it's not a off-the-court issues kind of thing. Not that he's having notable off-the-court issues.
There's coaching that falls into that too, right? That's where you see
absolutely.
the guy that's generally, and I don't want to break you off your point, but a lot of times a guy could be he could be a cold hooper, but in the prep ball, it's how the coach decided to utilize him. And then you really see them blossom in system ball if they didn't get a chance in prep once they get to college, right? It's the opposite. A lot of times you see guys that were absolute stars in prep, and then when they go to college playing that system bogs them down. So just wanted to throw that out there. So,
and that's why fit's so important. People talk about it all the time. Some people listen, some don't, but fit can make all the difference. You can go from being a role player to a star, or you can go from being a star to a less than a role player. If you make the wrong pick, or if you've got the wrong ideas about yourself, you got to know your game. Make the right fit. Part of making the right fit choice is knowing your game. But on this team, I think we're going to see Jarius Bradley starting by mid-season. Unfortunately, I think the ceiling for this team is middle of the pack. Maybe a couple more wins. Ain't
nobody talking about Alabama right now, Kai Killers. We're talking Pac-12. Get on topic, sir.
Kai, unfortunately, they didn't invite me to be part of the SEC show, so you're not going to get this kind of in-depth analysis. I don't know who they got, but it's not going to be this good. So
it's going to be brief. We're only going to spend about 3 minutes on Alabama. That's just the hate on YouTube, Ceej.
Like I said, the people they're going to have on aren't going to know ball because it's not me, and we know that my partner here doesn't know ball because he just said that Alabama's not worth spending time on. No. But anyways, he must not know ball. He must not know ball. But yeah, this Cal team, I'm kind of expecting a similar season to last year. Some elevated play from Jason Tada maybe. But he's going to need help from those two freshmen we mentioned for them to be anything better than they were last year.
Okay. Do you want to put a prediction to this?
7-7 in the Pac-12. 7-7 in the Pac-12, middle of the pack. I think they get some big wins. I think they're going to have some upsets probably because they've got a Jason Tada and a Jarius Bradley. If Jarius Bradley lives up to it, and again, shout out Israel Vines. I think if he can continue to up his offensive game, that's going to be a huge upside boost for this Cal team. But yeah, right now, just what I can see and what I know about them, 7-7 in the Pac-12. Maybe a first round win in the tournament, depending on matchup.
Okay. You want to talk recruiting at all here, or you want to keep it moving?
They need height. They need to go get some big guys.
That's it.
Jamal Williams, the only big guy they got. Yeah, they need to go get height. I think they've got Jarius Bradley, their scorer for the next couple of years. Israel Vines is going to keep getting better at scoring. I don't see him entering the draft this year. He probably could, but I think one more year he'd get more upside. Tada's gone. He's going to get more touches offensively. I think they need to go get some big guys immediately.
Okay. I hear you. All right, well, let's keep it moving. I hope I didn't scare you off from talking, Kai Killen. Say something. Let's just keep everybody on task. We talking Pac-12 right now. Because Pac-12 runs the SEC. I'm just talking. I'm just saying inflammatory stuff. I'm just doing my TikTok stuff. I don't believe that at all, just so y'all know. We'll talk about where Pac-12 lands in all of SimWorld U when we're done with this. I already know where you stand, Ceej, because you're a stand for the SEC. Is that correct?
I do like the SEC. I like that type of ball. But I mean, I've got all the respect. I'm a college basketball fan first, and Alabama basketball fan second.
Keeping it real. All right, let's talk. Let's talk a little Washington State. As I say on some of these other shows, why not? Because there's not a whole lot to talk about, in my opinion. The sky's the limit. Compared to what they did last season, I think sky's the limit. David Riley has a lot to prove this season. They have a couple of guys that I do like. I'm a big fan of the team captain. I like it when a guy comes for money and he's not even really supposed to be on the team. His dad probably bought him a seat on the team, and he just comes in. He's serviceable, and he's starting, and he's a team captain. And people would like to hate him, but he does his job. He does his job. He's returning, but more importantly, you got J.D. Reyes returning. That dude, he's nice. You talk about North and South players that will cram the ball down in someone's face, and he plays all over the court. I know you're ready to talk. And then we got Travion Sherwood. But they also brought in some action. I feel like that's what Ceej is getting ready to talk about. Let's talk Washington State. Let's talk Pacific Northwest, Ceej. What you see? What's good?
I love this Washington State team.
What?
They are my big dark horse for the Pac-12 this year. Let me tell you why. One, decent amount of returners, but the guys that they did, really who they lost was Javonte Russo, right? Great big man, a little undersized, but was a good big man. Again, undersized for this Pac-12 conference is nothing because most of the teams are undersized. But the guys they returned, and you mentioned them both, I think J.D. Reyes and Travion Sherwood, you're going to see them be they're going to step up and be the real leaders of this team. Both of those players are incredibly versatile. Travion Sherwood can defend the 2 through 5 with no problem. He's a quick defender, quick on his feet. He's light for his frame. At 6'11", about 217. Light for his frame. He can step out and shoot the ball. We've seen that. We saw it a lot in prep, and we saw a little bit of it last year in SimWorld U. I think he's a quick defender. He's a good defender in transition. And let's talk about J.D. Reyes, who I swear has grown like 6 inches over the last 2 years. For anyone who kept up with the prep ball. In prep ball, played for one of the international teams like on the SimWorld prep circuit, and he played the 1 through 5 for them. I swear he didn't play the 5 because he played with Leonardo Fields, who is an Alabama guy now.
You look at that highlight right there. That's what he can do. My God, was that Corey Yams he put on the deck? Sorry, that was incredible.
That's what I'm saying. Him and JD Reyes will be leaders of the team, both very versatile. JD Reyes, like you said, can do it in transition. Now he's 6'9", 200. He's going to be able to guard the 1 through 4 and 5 in some situations for this team because other than Sherwood and the freshman I'm about to get to, he's one of the bigger guys on the team, but he can also handle the ball. He can get down the court. I really like the theme of this team for me is their versatility. Incredibly versatile team. And actually, Benedict, too, I know you got some things to say about. You know who he reminds me of? And this will be for my college basketball old heads. Reminds me a little bit of Aaron Kraft. He doesn't do anything like exceptionally well, but he plays with heart, and he's that glue guy. He's not quite the defender Aaron Kraft was. He's a little bit better of a facilitator, but he's just one of those guys you got on your team. And not to bring race into it, but he's like that. He's the white guard who just like plays his tail off every game.
You just saw in the highlights there. He just dropped a mad dime there. That's what he does. He'll pull them out the bag. Gets the crowd going.
I like him a lot. I like Hugo Fields, who's probably gonna be starting for him. And I am putting a lot of value with my valuations Washington State team into a couple of these freshmen. And the first one, the biggest one for me that I think has the most star power, Dylan Laporte. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but that's how I'm reading it. Laporte. Like
Laporte.
Laporte. Mr. Basketball in Hawaii, 6'10". He's light 6'10". He's not a 6'10" big. This is a 6'10" guard. He's got a guard skill set. And he's gonna play. He's gonna get some time in the front court for this team because it's the Pac-12 and 6'10" is huge in the Pac-12. Not a lot of 6'10" or over guys in the Pac-12. The entire Pac-12, I think there's like maybe 20 of them. It's insane. But super versatile guy, and he is going to crack the starting lineup sooner than anyone thinks. He has got a lot of upside. He is one of the highest upside freshmen in the country, in my opinion. Went very under the radar. Not exactly sure why he ended up at Washington State. He should have ended up in a much bigger school. People are sleeping on this kid. And another guy that I think is going to very quickly, he's big for his skill set, in my opinion, Zachariah Livermore. I'm a fan of his. I don't think he's got quite the upside that Laporte has. But again, the theme of this team is going to be versatility. And really the theme of it is that there's nowhere to go but up from last year.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, they were 6-8 in conference, 15-16. They really were a middle of the pack team. They felt like a bottom of the pack team, but they're a middle of the pack team, both in conference and in the country. Fell short in the tournament, unfortunately, to UNLV, one of the more talented teams. They just figured it out towards the end of the year, I guess. I am very high on this team, on this Washington State team, and I think they're a dark horse contender for the Pac-12.
So
that's really what
before we get your prediction here, number one, what I've heard out of Washington is that Dylan Laporte, I think it's just Dylan Laporte, is actually likely to see some minutes on the wing. That's what coach has already talked about. He may be moving and sliding into that small forward spot, and he may even tamper with playing him at the 2 guard at times on the wing, which is just terrifying. Other thing I want to point. Go ahead.
Terrifying, but that's the crazy thing about this whole Washington State team. You could put Sherwood at the 3 if you really wanted. He's not quite got the skill set, but you could.
He moves those feet and he can shoot.
They're going to be scary in transition. They're going to be good defensively because a lot of guys can guard a lot of positions. They can do a lot of switching. And then in transition with guys like Laporte, guys like Sherwood, guys like Reyes, everyone on the court is going to be able to fill any lane. For anyone who knows basketball, you know that when you run a fast break, there's lanes to be filled, right? That's how you run a fast break. 1 through 5 on this team is going to be able to fill. Well, maybe even Asher Benedict's big. He's a big point guard, 6'5", 204. They're going to be able to fill a lot of lanes, just like on defense. A lot of guys are going to be able to guard a lot of positions. That versatility is really hard to game plan for. Really hard. And Laporte just builds on that. Yeah, I like this team.
Before we get on the predictions here real quick, I just want to point out, when I look at Zachariah Livermore's name, only because he's from the Pacific Northwest do I read that as Zachariah. If he lives anywhere else in the country, that's Zachariah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Pacific Northwest, that's absolutely Zachariah. I'm with you on that. All right, so you gave a little prediction there. Do we need to talk any recruiting, or do we go ahead and get to their in-state rival?
Get to their in-state rival.
Let's do it. Let's talk a little Washington. According to Ceej, this is the other Washington team. We're talking just straight up Washington here. Last season, they underperformed as well, in my opinion. What I expected to see was Tyshawn McGrady go for, I expect him to average roughly 49 points a game.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I did expect him to go bananas because there wasn't a lot else for him to work with. He was not as efficient as we thought he would be. He struggled from the free throw line greatly. I think this is a big year for him to showcase what he's actually capable of. But they brought in a lot of freshmen. They brought in some freshmen that I'm excited about. You got J.J. Delgado out of Puerto Rico. Oh, you got Larry McGee there. But let's talk Jordan Weaver. Let's talk Tyler Wilson. And then we get to take another look at Latrell Bynum, who I'm a huge fan of Latrell Bynum. If you watch his game, he's one of just those explosive guards, highlight package. And I am forgetting one guy here. He's going on to his sophomore year. They have a couple of guys. Expect to see them on SimWorld Top 10. Washington DeBrito, if you never got a chance to see international play in SimWorld Prep last year, the dude is... he was cramming. He first of all, he runs the court like a damn gazelle. But he also finishes like I don't know, maybe like a Sean. Not Sean Kemp. You can give a better comparison, see. But he finishes.
You're getting too hyper.
He finishes. He finishes at a high.
DeJuan Blair.
DeJuan
Blair before he lost his knee cartilage. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this one. You bring anyone that brings up DeJuan Blair has the floor. Go.
Yeah, Juan Blair, absolute Spurs legend. Let's not forget him. And if we're gonna mention Spurs legends, I have to say Boris Diaw. I'm under contract. I have to bring up Boris Diaw.
Oh my
We all
God.
love Boris Diaw. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be real. This Washington team, I don't get excited looking at the roster. They're gonna have some exciting games because they have Latrell Bynum returning and because they have Tyshawn McGrady returning, who are both great volume scorers. Great score. They're bucket getters. They are bucket getters. I like some of the guys they brought in. I don't love them for their immediate upside. I think they could be something very valuable in a couple of years if they work their tail off, like anyone can. The immediate upside is not there for a lot of them for me. Jordan Weaver, he's the biggest one to me. I've heard he's going to get the start at the 5, which is interesting to me because I don't see him as a 5. I think he's got more of a wing skill set, but again, this team is, we talk about undersized Pac-12. They might be the most undersized team in the Pac-12. They're really small. Jordan Weaver is their biggest guy at 6'9", and they don't have another guy over 6'7". They got a couple 6'7" guys, but one of them is, it's a lot of wings who are 6'7". I think they're going to struggle against bigger teams, which in the Pac-12 they won't have to worry much about. But when you talk about non-conference play, which there's going to be less non-conference play this year in SimWorld U, from what I hear from the grapevine, is that they've kind of restructured the conference schedule that's going to take up most of the year. But regardless, in the tournament, you don't get guaranteed to play a Pac-12 team. I think this team will have some games where they pull some upsets. There'll be some 40-point games from Tyshawn McGrady. There'll be some 40-point games from Latrell Bynum. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw my prediction out there. I think they're a bottom of the Pac-12 team. They were dead last year, 3-11 in the Pac-12, 6-24. 6-24, and I don't think that they brought in enough difference for this. Unless Bynum and McGrady are legitimate, one of the two are SimWorld U all first teams, and one is SimWorld U all second team. I just don't think they brought in enough for me to not have them as a bottom 3 team in the Pac-12. There's more exciting about a lot of the other teams than there is about Washington. And hey, look, I love Washington basketball. I love Nate Robinson, Isaiah Thomas. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't?
Let's
I don't think
move.
they're
Since
not competing.
You're saying we're not talking about them now. Let's go ahead and talk about a big time recruit who made his verbal commitment to join them next season. We'll see if that sticks through. Ali Cortez. They are preparing for the future. He is a big time hooper, big time scorer. Defensively, has a lot to learn. Hopefully that's something he's going to work on when the daily trainings come out. Shameless plug. Not too far away, you guys. Hope y'all can pay to get in that gym. Hope you've been tuning in to earn your free EMs by just simply tuning in so you can get in the gym. But yeah, kid can score. I don't want to talk about his deficiencies. The kid can score.
All due respect to Ali Cortez. Great player. Next year on the preview, we can talk about him. Right now, that kid's getting ready for an algebra test. What's he going to do for Washington right now? Literally nothing. I'm sorry. Ali Cortez is getting ready for an algebra test. He's not going to help this team not be bottom of the Pac-12. All due respect. Great player. I've seen him in person. Great player. Love to watch him play. Love what he does.
God.
But he's got algebra to focus on right now. I mean, you know what I mean? He's not
y'all
helping
y'all say I'm hating. I wanted to give him a spotlight.
I'm not hating on the player.
You know what? To be fair, he's had a lot of algebra tests apparently. We haven't seen you in a while, Ali. Welcome back. We're glad to see you in the stream. Off season doesn't mean leave us, sir. We still need you around so we can grow. But he will be there next season, number 5 recruit in the nation. So their future it looks like they're making some moves forward. And maybe he can bring in a little bit more action. You say new coach too?
They need a new coach. Hopefully after this year, they're bottom of the Pac-12.
Danny Sprinkle can't sprinkle a little magic in there?
No, I don't want a grown man whose last name is Sprinkle to coach my team.
I'm with you.
Call me old school. Sue me.
You're old school. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk. Let's move up north a little bit. Let's talk about Jamal, the place where Jamal Crawford was born. Isn't that where he's from? Or we gonna talk a little Oregon here? Isn't he from Oregon? Is that right?
He's from Seattle.
Oh, well, I was wrong. He's from Washington. My bad. It's all the same thing.
He runs the whole Seattle program.
These are the only 2 areas of the U.S. I've not lived in. Is that Pacific Northwest because. I mean, it rains enough here in Houston. I don't need that shit up there. It's too much. Let's talk Oregon, though. Let's talk Oregon. This team, y'all know, if you watched them last season, you heard a couple of names. And those names, good Lord, as I try and get to the squad here. There we go. Those names were Payson Corbin, and the other name was Timothy Brown. Payson Corbin gone. Timothy Brown is now here. Or not now here. He returns. He'll be the leading scorer coming back from this team. You still have Jetson Holiday. Did not show his best shooting last season, but we know he is an absolute shooter. You got Lene Newman there and Malik Swearinger. What you did lose was a whole lot of scoring, though. I'm interested to see what you think about this team coming into this season, Ceej. And more importantly, do the keys just get straight up handed to Timothy Brown, who I personally think he struggles to create offense, although he's on highlight film often?
Look, I'll start by saying I love Oregon. I'm a big fan of the brand, of the program, of the athletic department. I love the Oregon Ducks. Big fan. Timothy Brown's kind of the key to me. Because, all right, so let's address the elephant in the room first, the literal elephant-sized human who's no longer on the roster in Payson Corbin. And no one was a bigger Payson Corbin and Lamarian Sherwood defender than this guy right here. Payson Corbin, a lot of scoring they lost. And now they're facing a similar issue to Washington, where they are one of the smallest rosters in a small conference. They are very small. Much like Washington, they don't have a player over 6'9". That would be Lene Newman, their starting center.
He's a big guy, though.
Really,
he's a big 6'9". Let's go ahead and keep it real. He does protect the rim, Ceej.
He's a good protector. You can't play the whole game.
No, you can't. But
anyways, yeah, they don't have a lot of size. Timothy Brown's the key to me, and I like this Joe King Jr. kid and Jetson Holiday. They are really good other options. Both kind of very, very versatile, in my opinion. Decent defenders. Timothy Brown's going to be the key. We saw, like you said, he's a highlight reel. He almost reminds me. I think his base comparison I make is Shannon Brown. Reminds me of Shannon Brown. I was surprised to find out they weren't related. You know, the guy who had those like blocks where he would be like above the backboard and like upside down and pin the ball on the backboard. Shannon Brown. I think he did that once. That's who Timothy Brown kind of reminds me of. But we did see flashes last year of him being able to take over and make a play with the ball in his hands. He had a couple game-winning shots last year. He's got to do more of that. And he's a big 6'2", 210, 6'2". He's 10 pounds lighter than 6'9" Lene Newman. He's big. He's athletic. I need more touch in his game. I need more leadership for them to do anything better than last year, which with Payson Corbin on the roster, I think there were some games he missed, but they went 5-9 in the Pac-12 and 13-20, nationwide. For them to be any better than last year, Timothy Brown is going to have to elevate a lot. He's going to have to step into a leadership role. He's going to have to do those things. Unless someone else is going to come around and do that, Jetson Holiday's not that kind of player. Jetson Holiday is a really good role player. That's not a bad thing. He is a top tier role player. Defensively, he's got length. He can shoot. Joe King Jr., very, very good role player. They're not going to be the guy. They're not. For this team to be any better, Timothy Brown's going to have to be the guy. And he showed flashes, but I don't know. So for me, I think we find them around the same place, if not a little lower than we did last year. Bottom of the Pac-12, and I hate to say it because I love the Oregon Ducks, and I'm a huge Timothy Brown fan. But the realist in me has to say, I don't know that it's there. I don't know that it's there for them this year. I don't think they're going to be able to run the same kind of offense they did last year. I think they're going to have to focus a little more on, guard scoring. They're not going to be able to run the kind of post game they ran with Payson Corbin. Lene Newman, very good defender, decent post offense, but he's not going to be that guy. So I'm a little curious on what Oregon's going to do. I'm a little curious on what they're going to do. And while I want to say my hopes are high for them, because my hopes are high, I don't know that it's going to be there. I have them in the bottom 3 of the Pac-12 again.
Recruiting wise, have you heard anything about where Daniel Irvin plays out of? I think he plays out of Texas for SimWorld Prep. Any word on where he's going? Do you think this is a good fit for Coach Finn Hayes with his first season here with Oregon? Where do they need to be looking recruiting wise?
Daniel Irvin would be a great get. He's a good player. I think they need to just be going to get good players. I hate to say this for every team, but they should get some size, especially with SimWorld use shifting to kind of a more conference-focused overall schedule. The first team that can load up on size in this conference is going to have a considerable advantage.
That's
the way it works.
Okay.
It's the way it works. They need to be focused on going to get big. But, again, a team like Oregon's kind of on the edge of that. I talked about like a Wichita State versus UCLA in recruiting. They're kind of on the edge of, they're not a blue blood, but they are a very big, very notable program. They are going to have shots at some top recruits, and they need to be right now. It's kind of like if they were an SWBA team, I'd be telling them they need to just take the best available. That's what they need to be doing in recruiting. Just go get guys who can play ball.
Okay. So no signing somebody to a minimal contract and then paying them through Aspire. Aspire. Okay.
Unless Jamal Crawford can. I mean, look. J.R. Smith went back and played college golf. If they can get Jamal Crawford to come play college ball again, go get him, bro.
All right, well,
go get him.
Let's hit a little pause button here. Again, want to thank everybody that's tuned in here. I think we're going to run an EM giveaway. Why not? The first person, because we haven't done this one in a while, first person that can finish this phrase, I think they're going to get 1,000 EMs. That's a lot, Ceej. What's in my pocket, dog? I'm looking for it in the chat. If anyone knows what to do, you win. First person who knows what to do. Meanwhile, we're going to keep it moving. Let's talk about Utah for all the right reasons. Let's move out to Utah. This team, pretty good last season. Shocked some people. They shocked some people. Oh, Monte Parsons is our winner. Drees, you were just a little late. Coach Pope in there. Look at the old heads doing the game. There's no such thing as big fave hundreds. I want you to know that, Jay Madura. I don't know what that is. It is big faced hundreds, not hundreds. Hundreds. Ceej, you know all about plies, don't you? You know about plies. Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes.
Don't disrespect me like that.
Just say yes. Monte Parsons. 1,000 EMs coming your way. God, Monte's just winning all the way around here. That's what happens when you're locked in. What is he, back to being number one player?
He doesn't need those 1,000
He won the SimWorld slippers. Make sure
he doesn't need that.
He won. He earned it. But you know what?
He's gonna be racking up VIL deals. He doesn't need.
You know what? You know how life works though, Ceej. Did he need it? Maybe not. But he earned it. When you earn it, you get it. That's how it goes. He earned it. He won. He said it first. I don't know what else to do. Let's get back out to Utah. They scared a lot of people last season. People didn't see it coming because they couldn't understand how someone named Darian Cutright was just able to get it done. They had a big man in the middle.
Triton Hendon.
Yeah, Triton Hendon. No longer there, but they have a lot. I'm just gonna go ahead and get my piece out because I know I may not get it out once you start rolling, Ceej. I'm a big Dalen Ballo fan. He comes back at 12 points a game. I love players that catch the ball and immediately make decisions because they allow the rest of the team to get in the spot, right? He catches the ball, either the shot's going up, but more times than not, he's immediately going north and south to the rim. Like his game, I'm a big fan of Darian Cutright because why not? He's tall, he gets on the glass. You need that in college basketball. It's big time. Kenneth Gaffney is a floor general. 4 assists a game, leading assist man, I believe, in Pac-12 last season. But yeah, let's just get down to the business. Freshman-wise, shit, they brought in. Look, this is an unheralded freshman class. I'm gonna start with the first one. Rashad Rockford is a mountain. He is Charles Barkley reincarnated. We'll see if his future pans out to be that, but you don't want to see him moving towards you, and he can handle the ball. You're probably going to get out the way. He's a mountain of a man, and he's only, 18 years old. Big time. But let's get to the real one. Let's talk a little Bjarni Janssen. Whatever you want on the basketball court, he can give you. He reminds me a lot of Luka Doncic, if we're being honest. It may not be as flashy, but what he does is he gets buckets, he facilitates, he can shoot. What? That's what people are going to say. He's European. They're going to comp him to a European player. That's how life works. I don't make the rules. I don't make them. But he does a little bit of everything, Ceej. A little bit of everything. Imagine if Luka played college basketball at Utah. It's probably going to look a little bit like what Bjarni Janssen's going to do. I'm excited to watch Utah basketball. I don't know if I've ever said that in my life, but I'm very excited. What you got, Ceej?
I'm also a huge fan of this Utah team. I really like with everything you say. I agree with. Look, fine, call it a Luka Doncic ceiling, but that's still insane. That's like saying a kid's got a LeBron James ceiling. Like, no, he doesn't. I'm a huge fan of Bjarni. I was actually ready to come in here and really hype him up, and you just kind of outdid me on it. I was gonna say like realistic comp. It was like an Andrei Kirilenko almost, because he can do all the facilitating, he can do all that.
But he's better offensively. That's I'm not with that one. He's offensively a savant.
Andre Karolinko was a stud.
He was a defensive stalwart. He did. Hey, I love AK. I can tell you, as a Houstonian, I guess I had to love him a little less because most of that work happened to the Rockets. But he was more of a defensive player. Just saying.
Whatever. I mean, like, I think Andre Karolinko is a guy you can absolutely aspire to be like. And no, I don't think Bjarne's actually got the defensive chops to be him. But I think offensively, Andre Karolinko was. But he earned the nickname AK-47. That wasn't for his defense. No one gives you a nickname after a gun for defense.
Yes, they do. That is exactly why that was his name. All right, Ceej, let's move on and talk about Utah because you're gonna. No, we can't do that. You can't go that far back in the archives. That's mine. That's my area.
Andre Karolinko was like over his career, never from the field, never shot less than 44% from the field. Had multiple seasons at 50%. He was an efficient scorer. You know what Bjarne
he was
Johnson
absolutely
is?
efficient.
An efficient scorer.
Yeah.
He was Bjarne Johnson. Anyways, but like I said, I love the hype of him. But anyways, I'll move on. Yes, Bjarne Johnson is going to absolutely fill the scoring and heart of the team kind of role that they are.
Let me ask you this. I even want to cut you off here. Is he going to change the direction of this Utah team? Like they were good last season, but they even slipped into the SimWorld, the SP Top 25. Does this kind of change the course of what this program is for the future?
For sure, and I think it helps even more that they're building off a surprise season where they were a lot better than anyone anticipated. So you build off of that by going to get a top 10 recruit in Bjarne Johnson. I would personally say he was one of the top 5 best in all of high school, but I don't believe he ended the year ranked that way, and maybe I'm wrong. But this is a huge recruit. When you go back to the importance of recruiting for any college program, but specifically in college basketball, we talk about it a lot in college football too. When you talk about college basketball, one recruit can change everything.
Mm-hmm.
One recruit can change everything. I know you don't want to hear me talk about Alabama, but I'm going to because
damn it, Ceej!
I was there.
Damn it!
You
may be as bad with Alabama as Marsh is with Golden State. I'm calling. Jeez.
I'm not calling. First of all, I'm not like saying they're going to win it all or anything. I'm talking about the history that led them to be. Alabama did not used to be this prominent of a basketball program. You know what changed it? When they got their first ever 5-star recruit in John Petty, and then in the next year they got Colin Sexton, the highest recruit.
Who the hell did you say first?
Yeah, you don't know John Petty Jr. and that's fine.
But he allowed them to bring in Colin Sexton. I get your
Colin
point.
Sexton. That is when the direction of the Alabama basketball program changed drastically. One recruit. It's not like football where you have to have a top recruiting class. One recruit can change everything. Bjarne Johnson can be that kind of recruit. 6'7", 222, strong frame, can score the ball from all 3 levels. Good defender, not a great defender yet. Good defender. He can facilitate. He can handle the ball. He is absolutely a game changer for the program from a recruiting standpoint. And on the court, with the roster that's filled out, as we saw, played very well together last year. With that roster in place and kind of the super glue guys that they've got, like a Kenneth Gaffney and a Dalen Ballo. When you got guys like that and you're bringing back a guy in Darian Cutright, so you've got the stability for this Utah team around them. Now you have the star. This team has a chance to win the Pac-12.
I'm picking them. I'm going. I think they win the Pac-12. Their mix of youth and upperclassmen on this team too. There's just all the tools are there. It's a scary team.
They're my second pick to win the Pac-12. They're my number 2 pick to win the Pac-12.
Okay.
I think they'll be in the Pac-12 championship against the other team, the team that had the 2 best recruiting classes for this year, in my opinion, for the Pac-12 are going to be in the Pac-12 championship because they also are returning a lot of guys, have a really good roster. We'll talk about the other team later when we get to them. You'll know. But I have very high hopes for this Utah team. I have very high hopes for Bjarne Johnson. I'm excited to see the product he puts out there on the court.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Let's take a brief second, Ceej. Brief. Because you brought up the point, sometimes a recruit will come in and they'll change the direction of a program. And you mentioned whoever that guy was you named for Alabama is what allowed them to bring in Colin Sexton, right? Bjarne Johnson, he's not going to be whoever that guy is. I think he's going to be a notable name. But what do they bring in? That's exactly why you froze on the screen, good sir. I
agree.
He's going to allow them to bring in another guy. You got Cutright's leaving out. Who do you think comes in, or what type of player? What do you think Coach Smith is looking for?
I think he's got a lot of liberty with his recruiting. They do have some older guys. They have a lot of guys who could declare. But I think they lose Darian Cutright and probably Gaffney, like you said. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Gaffney stay. He's undersized for today's game. I think he could go, but I think he's got a lot of liberty with his recruiting this year. I really do. I think he can bring in. They're very well rounded already, in my opinion. They could use some more size, as could the rest of the Pac-12. I'm going to say that for every team. Could use some more size. The Pac-12 is so freaking small. But anyways, he's got a lot. I think he goes and gets the best available, but not in the same way that I say an Oregon goes and gets the best guys they can. I think he has the flexibility to do that, because I don't think they're going to lose a whole lot of guys, and even if they do, I think they're proving to be a program. They can elevate guys' plays, because let's be real, no one thought Triton Hendon was going to be a guy who's going to have a college career like that. There he was having it. I think he's got a lot of liberty, and I don't really know what direction he goes. I'm sure they target another star, because they're kind of feeling like, let us get in that realm.
And that's really the question I was asking. Are they're going to kind of test their recruiting ability this offseason? You mentioned Triton Hendon before we move on real quick. Triton Hendon was just another one of those players in college that we've seen throughout history, not even just last season. If you're over 6'9", if you got a little 220 and up on you and you're willing to catch the ball in the post and do this, just a drop step with your elbows up, you can make a living. Ask Tyler Hansbrough and then ask where you saw him after he left college. That's all you got to do, big guys. Be big. Be big. But look, let's keep it moving here. Speaking of big guys in the post, we're going to move on. We're going to talk a little Colorado basketball. They lost a guy in the post as well. His name was Brian Vaughn. Y'all know him, you love him, or you know him and you hate him. But guess what? He's no longer there. Colorado now on the board. They had a decent season last season. Nobody really
had a great season.
I mean, yeah, they performed well, but they lost a major piece. What they are bringing back is Jaden Thomas, who looked great in spurts there. They're bringing back, the brother of Mr. Vaughn. That's Brett Vaughn, and he's a great facilitator, great quarterback for the team. And Jaziel Mead, who I'm a fan of. Actually, I mean, realistically, they're bringing back quite a few guys, and Darrell Kreider as well, who's a senior. They're bringing back substantial scoring. Are they double-digit scorers? No, but guys who can put the ball in the hole. Freshman-wise, didn't make a ton of noise. Marcelo Raboa, I've got a chance to watch a lot of his game. I don't want to step on anything you're going to say there, Ceej, but I can imagine him starting. And I can imagine him kind of playing a little bit of the Brian Vaughn role. The guy has hella game in the post. He's going to need to get some. He plays a lot bigger than 6'7", 192, I'll tell you that. And somebody must be misweighing him on that scale. What are you expecting out of Boulder?
I don't want to be mean. They had a great season last year. And you know what? I forgot about them when we were talking about all the other teams, and I was talking about how small they all are. This is the smallest of the bunch.
They are. They're tiny.
They are really small. And it's not even like the small where like their bigs are on the low end of the big men and their guards are kind of big, so it's all like everyone's kind of the same size. Their guards are little. Their bigs are little. I don't even want to say their bigs are little, but yeah, their bigs are little. I don't know. I really was looking for, and there's some positives on the roster. Jaden Thomas can absolutely be a spark plug. Can be a guy who can go get you a bucket anytime. Brett Vaughn is a really great leader, a really good point guard. Any team in college basketball would love to have him on the roster. I don't know that he would start on every team, but he'd start on a lot of teams in SimWorld U. He's a very good point guard. He's the kind of point guard that you want as a college basketball coach. I just can't find, like you said, there's a lot of returning guys that are good. I can't find anything to be super excited about with this Colorado team. And I'm not going to say, oh, they're bottom of the Pac-12 because they showed that last year they were a really good team and they really just lost one guy.
Well, let's get to it, Ceej, because we are pressed for time here. And then I know there's a team that everybody's wanting to get to, and we have a couple more to go here. Where do they finish? Just go ahead and give your prediction.
Oh, just outside the bottom three, middle of the pack.
Yeah, let's give these a number. How many wins do they end the season with?
In the Pac, well, I think they're playing like 20 games in the Pac-12 this year. I think they win 12, well, maybe 11 of them, 10, 11.
I think that's hopeful. I'm gonna be honest.
I
Someone
think that
calls
is.
them dog
I'm
water.
trying. I'm
Someone in
trying.
the chat said dog water. See, I've
They,
seen this phrase a couple of times. What the hell is dog water? It sounds disgusting. Explain. Someone
it just
explain what
means
it
bad.
is.
It just means really bad.
But what is dog water? Is it water squeezed from a dog? Is it the
Yeah,
bowl
yeah.
that they drink out of? Is it when they piss? Like, what is
No.
dog
It's like
water?
if a dog gets soaking wet and the water that falls off from that's dog water.
That's pretty gross. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
nasty.
nasty.
It's just like hot
That's
dog
worse
water.
than anything I just said. I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to be a little respectful because they've proven that they got a good system out there in Colorado, and I want to believe it was more than just Brian Vaughn being transcendent. Because they didn't have him the whole season either. They won some games without him. So
That's
I'm gonna give him
right.
a little respect and not put him bottom of 3. Because I think they're a middle of the pack team. There's nothing to be excited about, but they got a lot of good players. They'll be fun. They'll win some games. They'll catch a lot of teams off guard and win some games. But I don't see them as like a threat to be a top team in the Pac-12. I don't see them making a deep tournament run. I see them doing enough to keep themselves out of the bottom of the Pac-12.
All right. All right, well, we're one team away from what everybody wants to talk about. It's crazy he's not in the chat as much as he likes to talk about himself. But we're not going to go there just yet. We're not going to go there just yet. Let's go out to the Brainiacs in the Pac-12, if we may. And when I say Brainiacs, I'm talking Stanford basketball. Stanford, last season, again, another team that underperformed in the Pac-12, in my opinion. Not just because I think they should have played better, but just because they're in the Pac-12, they just didn't look great. They're not bringing back a lot to be excited about. To be honest, you got Brungo coming back, leading scorer Sandro Speed, Daquan Sheffield, Deontay Post starting in the middle was really supposed to be an elite player for this team. Look, Ceej, if you were going to say who was going to be the worst team in the Pac-12, is this it? It is? Okay.
It's either Stanford or Washington, but Washington at least has those 2 scorers to be excited about. This Stanford team was 5-9 last year, bottom of the barrel, and the games that they did win, they won because of Daquan Van Cleef.
Let me ask you this. I wanted to frame the question. Aaron Murray, who I believe coached at SimWorld Prep, and he had one of the more elite offenses a couple seasons. He likes to really push the boundaries. And I think he even had a stint last season where he was assistant coaching for the Orlando Magic. Is he going to be able to pull anything out of this team system wise, like we talk about in college basketball, or are they really just going to be struggling?
I think they're going to struggle.
You have no belief in the coaching.
Coaching is awesome. Give them a couple years to recruit.
Okay. Ceej, a man of not many words on this one.
I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean. My mom told me
you almost cut out the screen, man. He's sitting so low. He's so comfortable.
Bro, my mom
People want to
always
see your
says,
chin. They want to see your chin.
if you don't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
This is true. This is true.
That's what I got to say about Stanford. Give them a couple years to recruit.
All right, then it sounds like you're ready to move on. Let's see if the chat's ready to move on. Do we want to shout anybody else out in this chat who's been here from top to tip and from tip to end, just kind of holding on it? Biff Markham, I appreciate you sticking in here with us. Coach DJ Penn, for those of y'all that don't know out in social media and in the feeds and just kind of behind the scenes, Coach Penn is wild. I love the energy, Coach Penn. You remind me of somebody who was here before. I'm just going to say the name just to test the waters and see if you may even know him, just in case I have a theory that's correct. You remind me of a guy who coached here for maybe a game or 2. His name was Coach Mula. The energy is the same. The energy is very same.
That's crazy.
It's a fact. It's a fact. But I like how you get down, Coach Penn. Coach Drees in the building. Jordan Scott in the building. Appreciate you guys keeping along. Hey, man, tell y'all teammates to pop in here. We need that love, man. We need that love. We only have the energy to put on this type of production routinely and the amount of content we give y'all based on the fact of y'all tune in. So that's that. Let's move on. Can we talk a little candied yams, though? Are you with that?
Let's.
All right, well, we know Everyone knows who this team is. I'm getting ready to talk about it. If I'm talking candy yams, we're getting ready to talk Arizona. I've done my fair share of hating on Corey Yams, and I'm going to continue to stick to what I do best. I will continue to hate on Corey Yams. I think he's an excellent player. He's coming back, leading rebounder for this team, 11 points a game. I think he's kind of raw offensively, but I think what he is exactly what you want in the middle. For all the hate that I'm putting out there and just kind of being silly, I think he's an excellent piece for a team. I think what we're going to be looking at with Arizona is a breakout season, though, because I'm excited to see Theophilus Hilton in his junior year. He is a stud. He plays the 1 through the 3. You do whatever you need him to do. 6'7", 190, get a bucket. Khalil Erickson, we didn't really see him come alive until late in the season last season. He struggles to control the ball sometimes, but when you get him near the rim, he's finishing in highlight fashion. I'm excited about that. Zane Davis looks like he's going to be coming off the bench. He had to start it for Coach Lloyd last season. Great shooter. I think that's a good choice, but he gets to come off that bench because they're bringing in a kid by the name of Ashton Rollins, freshman, going to be in the starting lineup for this team. Can handle the ball. Really looks a lot like a point guard out there. But he can defend in the post, and he's got Corey Yams there to back him up. And then lastly, let me not forget, out of Texas, repping for Texas, Emilio Torres is going to be in the backcourt. Tommy Lloyd defined his starting lineup pretty early. I think this team's going to be scary in the Pac-12. Ceej, I defer to you and hand it over.
This is the other team this is the other team I have in the Pac-12 championship against Utah as of right now. Unless my guys over at Washington State did something amazing, which I think they could. This is the other team. I think Ashton Rollins and Emilio Torres are going to be electric. Both going to start off the rip, I believe. Torres is just a really good shooter, really good complementary piece to a guy like Theophilus Hilton, and similar to he's not similar his game wise, so don't jump on me. But in terms of his value to a team, to like a Khalil Erickson who plays a role really well. Theophilus Hilton's going to have a great year. I like Littleton Cordoba coming off the bench, and Yams I think is just going to continue to progress. He keeps getting better, as players are supposed to.
Isn't that what big men do? Like that, just throw that out there. Whenever I can talk some real basketball insight and enlighten people, most bigs ever in the history of basketball, you see them be raw, get a little better. They're not their best until around their third season in the pros. So I think he has lots of upside. So please continue though.
Corey Yams has a lot of upside, and I think them pairing him with Rollins playing at the 4 when he's got skills to handle the ball, do all that. He's almost like a point forward. I almost want to bring up the name Lamar Odom when I think about Ashton Rollins. Lamar Odom action. Oh. Hopefully off the court, nothing like Lamar Odom. But on the court, I think we can get a little Lamar Odom action. And he is the perfect guy to have playing next to a Corey Yams because he can stretch the floor a little. He doesn't need to be down in the post. He's not going to clog up the paint. They went and got guys and built a roster around the idea of Yams is going to be the centerpiece. You're going to see them use him. Now, I think they're going to play. They're going to have a balanced attack. They're going to do a lot of things offensively, but a lot of times you're going to see them play with Yams the same way you saw Iowa use Lamarian Sherwood last year. Just dump it down to him over and over and over again, and let him beat the shit out of whoever's trying to defend him. Draw double teams, things like that. But then, like you said, when you add in a shooter like Emilio Torres, when you add in a versatility guy like Ashton Rollins into the mix as freshmen, next to those guys like Theophilus Hilton and Khalil Erickson, who are established value pieces for this Arizona team has the highest upside of any team in the Pac-12.
You know what they did last season, Ceej?
By far.
You brought up a good point. Last season, what we really saw towards the latter part of the season is their defense really step in and get wild. They're going to be bringing that intensity back with Corey Yams in the middle, and then that hard press that Tommy Lloyd was running. But offensively, what we've heard out of the camps is that he is going to run more of a traditional kind of high post offense. So the question is, people wanted Corey Yams. The crowd clamored for it, and apparently Coach saw something where the ball will likely be in Corey Yams' hands a little bit more to make the decision. Does that mean that he's pounding it down to go get his buckets, or because he's a great passer too for a big man? And then you got Ashton Rollins as well.
That passing's going to go well with a guy like Rollins, who can also play off the ball and cut to the basket very well much like Khalil Erickson can, much like Theophilus Hilton can. This roster is
you
set
think
up
that shift you think that shift is going to be good for this team as opposed to them kind of getting out and being speedy in transition? Because they would have to slow it down a little bit more if they're running high post, you know?
That's why I said they're going to have a balanced attack, because they are going to slow it down more often. But this is a team that can absolutely still run. Now, Yams isn't like the quickest, most athletic big man, but he can run the floor just fine. He's a fine rim runner. He's not bad at it. It's just not his best part of his game. But the rest of this roster can. And so I think you are going to see Yams you're going to see this a lot, where they are going to play a slower half-court game, where they're utilizing Yams in the middle, throwing the ball to him. But I also think you're going to see this team a lot of times when they get defensive stops, when you see Yams get a defensive rebound or anyone else, I think you're going to see them push the ball a lot, try to get Emilio Torres an open three, try to get Khalil Erickson going towards the basket. Ashton Rollins, you're going to see him anytime Rollins grabs a defensive board, I think you're going to see him push it in transition immediately because of his ball handling skills. And like I said, he's got a little bit of Lamar Odom in him. I think you're going to see him push the ball up the court a lot. Same with really any guy 1 through 4 on this roster and this starting team can grab a rebound and push it. So I think you are going to see a lot of that. But in the half court, it is going to be a big shift. It's going to be run through Corey Yams in the half court exclusively, pretty much.
Finished as high as 11th in the SP25 last season, so that was pretty good for him. I go ahead and make my prediction is, even though they're slowing the game down a bit, is what we anticipate, right? Anything can change. I expect Arizona to lead the Pac-12, if not the nation, in assists per game. I think that ball's going to be hopping. I'll say that much. And then they're going to have to hit some outside shots. I think that's going to be their Achilles heel, is how much they can really hit that three. So, Ceej, how far do they run in Hoopsteria? Hoopsteria is it in Indianapolis this year? Or, excuse me, the quad is? That's the news I'm hearing. Y'all hearing that information here first, out in Indy. That's pretty exciting. How far can Arizona go in Hoopsteria? Do they make it into the quad?
I mean, they had a great 8 run last year, and I see no reason they don't surpass that this year. I think they could be a quad team. If there's a contingency for they could be a quad team.
They gotta stay healthy.
Corey Yams has to elevate his game, and he was great last year. But if they're going to run this offense through him, and he's going to be the focal point of it. Last year, the focal point more often than not, it was Yams sometimes, but Juan Valentine did a lot of the focal pointing last year. Corey Yams has got to be consistent. He's got to be consistent, game in and game out, because we saw what happens when you get a big like that who has high usage, who isn't consistent. You get Oregon with Payson Corbin. Now, if you get a team you mentioned, you get a team who can pass the ball well, moves the ball well, and a big who is consistent in the middle with his dominance. You get an Iowa with Lamarian Sherwood, but I think this team has the same upside as that team did. I don't think that team reached their upside last year. But Corey Yams, I'm not saying he's Lamarian Sherwood yet.
But you are saying that Arizona is Iowa from last year. That's what I just heard.
I'm saying they could be. They're a similar play style team. But I think they have better talent around that centerpiece. So, yeah, I'm high on them. I think they absolutely could be a quad team this year. And I do have them winning the Pac-12.
Okay. You have them winning. Oh, y'all heard it. He's got them winning the Pac-12. Look, Ceej, it's been a pleasure having you here. Before we get out of here, is there anything you want to say to the people who haven't seen you in a while? I'm gonna put you on blast. You know I'll roll unexpected. Hey, throw a smile, throw a thumbs up in the chat if y'all want to see more Take It As You Wills. Throw a thumbs up in the chat. Let's see how many we can get in there. Y'all know how y'all do. We had some people in here. We had up to 30 live viewers, and some of y'all tapped out and whatever. Couldn't keep it on in the background. So out of the 18, yep, we see some thumbs up in there. We get some Take It As You Wills. We're gonna keep that vein going too, Ceej, before you.
These kids are too young for that. That's like asking today's generation if they want to see more Golden Girls, bro. They don't know about it.
So who are you, Blanche, or like which one are you? That's the only name.
Whatever one, I don't even know Golden Girls that well. Whichever one Betty White was.
Betty White, you're Betty White. I like it. I can see it. There's four thumbs up in there already. Along that same vein, before we get out of here, guess what, guys? Y'all been clamoring for it and begging and acting like y'all get to call the show. Well, guess what you did? You win. We get to the SEC and we talk SEC and Hard in the Paint on Monday at 7 p.m. If we get 50 live viewers in that joint too, and I'm sorry, here's what y'all asked for. It will be myself. It will be the spicy one. Rick Blaze, and it will be the Golden State lover himself, Mr. Face from MASH. That is Marsh will be in the building. Me, Marsh, and Rick. Ceej, we may even get you in here if you can shorten up your takes a little bit. That's when we're going to talk SEC. That's what everybody's been waiting on. Monday, 7 o'clock, Hard in the Paint. 50 live viewers, Hard in the Paint come back. We start getting celebrity hosts, guests on again, and maybe some of you other guys, because this is the only live interactive show we got right now. We don't get live viewers. Hard in the Paint is gone forever. It's donezo. I'll be done after that. But we are going to cover SEC. You looked a little scared about that, Ceej. You feel you're nervous? You don't want to miss Hard in the Paint, do you?
We gotta get this guy a glass of red wine in his jammies. He's way too amped up. Too hyper.
My red wine is coming in about 5 minutes. It's already on deck, sir.
Those SEC takes, the guys that are gonna be in the studio, they're hotheads. They're gonna get hyper, they're gonna get amped up, and they're gonna yell at each other. It's gonna be like reality TV. Ball knowledge, we'll see how much is on display. But if you like good reality TV, you're gonna want to tune into that one. I'll tell you that for sure.
It's been a pleasure. Ceej, you want to say anything to the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, thanks to you guys for having me on Hard in the Paint. I love, going and being hard in the paint. Do it all day, every day. Thanks you guys for having me on. It was really awesome. Hope to see more of you guys. Hope to see you guys more in the chat. I'm always watching. If you're not hearing from me, I see you. I'm like Santa Claus.
He's like Santa Claus.
Yeah. Like, I see you. I see you.
Yeah, and hey, look, go. Easter egg. For those of y'all who are wanting to get better, I heard y'all talking about EMs, or I don't have many EMs. The greatest quantity of payback for EMs is in the live streams. It is fractional, and the ratio is way less when you're talking in the locker room. It is 0 when you're talking in the players' chat. It is pretty decent when you get in the media feed. But when you're in the live stream, and when you stay locked in, you get the greatest value for EMs. We're trying to reward you, baby. We got you. But that's all I got. Ceej, I appreciate you being on. I appreciate everybody being tuned in. It's been Hard in the Paint. Until next time, we out. Peace.